Hi, welcome back to Jen's Jungle, and today I'm going to be talking about keeping your small animals cool. So, for those of you who don't know, I live in England, and although we tend to have quite a mild climate, we do have the odd pattern of good weather. So typically temperatures here do tend to stay in the 20s. However, we get the odd time when we go into the low to mid 30s. And at this temperature, it can be dangerous for your small animals. Now, if you live in other countries with warmer climates, this might not sound much, but it's still important to take measures to keep your small animals cool. In England, it's not typical to have air conditioning, so that's not an option for most people here. So instead, there are other methods you can use. So there are ways of keeping your whole room cool, especially if you have a pet room like I do. So to keep my pet room on the cool side, I have a fan going. It is a Dyson smart fan, so this lets me check the temperature when I'm elsewhere and turn it on and off remotely. This is a great way of just keeping the cool air moving. However, that alone is not enough to keep your animals cool. So other methods I use is I open my windows during the night. This lets cool air in, and then in the day I shut the windows to keep that cool air in, then the fan can move it around. Also, drawing your curtains or blinds during the day to stop that bright light can also help. So these are great ways of keeping the whole environment on the cooler side, but when it's really hot, these alone might not work. So it is important to have other ways of keeping your small animal cool. I do this with various small animal cooling products, some which are bought specifically and some which are a bit DIY. So to start off with, one of my favourite products is this. This is an animal cooling pad. So you pop this in your freezer and it stays cool for about 12 hours. I normally pop a little cover on it before popping it in, and this is just a great way that your small animal can choose to lie up against it and keep themselves cool. You do have to just keep an eye on watching if they're chewing it at all, but it's quite thick plastic. This is specifically great for sort of animals, sort of rats, degus, that kind of size, as it gives them space to fully lie out on it. So I got this from a shop called B&M, and these are about £5, so they're great, easy to use, reusable, and they keep cool for a long time. However, the DIY version of this is simply a water bottle. So fill any old water bottle with water, pop it in your freezer, let it freeze, and then wrap it in a towel. And then your small animal can lie up against it to keep cool. This is particularly great for bunnies. My bunnies love a cool ice bottle, and you can use all different sizes of bottles, from the 500ml ones to the big 2-litre ones if you've got larger animals. So this is a really great and easy way of keeping your animal cool. The benefit of this is if they chew through it, there's no chemicals inside, it is just water. Might make a bit of a mess, but it is very safe for your small animal. Another sort of cooling item, which most people have seen, are these cooling mats. So these are like the gel cooling mats, which when they lie on, they feel a bit cooler. So I do use these for my cats and my bunnies, but I would just say only use these under observation, so only when I'm around, because obviously I don't want my rabbit chewing through that quite quickly and getting the gel inside. So these can be used, but just a bit of caution. So I mentioned earlier about having a fan in the room. However, you can also get these really cool dog crate fans. So these are made for dog crates. However, I find these great to just clip onto the edge of my cage. Now I make sure it's near the top of the cage, where it's not in the direct line of any of the animals, but it just helps circulate that air around the cage. So with my big fan going around the room and these ones going into the cage, just keeps cool air moving around. It is really great. I also find it helps with smell a little bit, in the fact that there's no sort of stagnant air. These I think were about £3 from Aldi, however you can get similar versions online, and these I would highly recommend for caged animals such as rats and degus, anything that's in a cage. Definitely recommend these. You can also clip them onto a CNC cage for guinea pigs, obviously just making sure it's not anywhere that the animal can nibble at. You can also get specific cooling hides, So this is one by Trixie and I use it for my hamsters. So this bit you can pop in your freezer to make it nice and cool, and then the igloo goes over the top. I love the fact that it's a cooling item in the shape of an igloo, and this keeps a nice cool environment for the small animal inside. This would also be great for sort of gerbils and similar. And I love the fact that it's a whole cool environment. You can also just use any ceramic hide. Now you can use these just as is, as they will naturally stay cooler inside, especially if placed in the shade. But you can also cool these in your fridge or freezer to make them even cooler. And the great thing about using just any ceramic hide is you can get ones to fit your animal. These are much better than sort of plastic hides, as plastic hides will heat up and actually get warmer inside than out. These will stay cooler. So definitely ceramic over plastic. You can also get tunnels, ceramic tunnels. These are great. Some animals will much prefer lying in a tunnel than a hide. So I said any sort of ceramic items are really great in the heat. So the DIY version of this, which you probably already have at home, is simply a mug. So you can pop just a normal ceramic mug in the freezer, let it get nice and cool, pop it in your cage, and then the small animal can go inside and get nice and cool. You could either use one of those really big super sized mugs you get if you've got larger hamsters or larger small animals, but that would be a really nice easy way of providing the same thing. You can then also get cooling slates for your animals. You get specific ones on Amazon and other sites. However, I find the easiest way of doing it is simply popping down to your local hardware shop and buying a tile. So you'll often be able to get singular tiles as samples. I got a load of these really cheap when in the sale. It doesn't matter what's on them. This just provides a nice cool surface for your animal. You can obviously get them in all different shapes and sizes. These are for my bunnies, but you can sort of get coaster sized ones for hamsters and the like. But I would really recommend popping down to your local hardware shop and seeing what they have. Now for your sort of larger animals, so sort of your rabbits, your guinea pigs, and I use these for my cats, I recently got one of these. So this is a cooling water bowl. So the middle bit you can pop in the freezer. This gets it nice and cool, and then when you fill it up with water, it stays nice and cool for your animal. And these are great size for your rabbits and guinea pigs. The base is plastic, so this might get chewed, so just something to watch out for. But the bowl itself feels quite firm, feels quite chew proof. However, if you don't want to use a specialist one, you can also just use a ceramic bowl. Again, you can pop this in your fridge or freezer beforehand to cool it down. Ceramic bowls are better than plastic bowls, as they will keep the water cooler. So I can definitely recommend using ceramic bowls and popping them in the freezer beforehand to keep them cool. So these are just a few ideas of how to keep the small animal cool. As I say, it's really important. Small animals can die in the heat. The exact temperature depends on your animals, and chinchillas are very sensitive to heat, and many people do need aircon to keep these safely. Degus are a bit less sensitive than chinchillas, but anything in the high 20s can be very uncomfortable for them. Hamsters as well can be sensitive in high heats. Of course, there's the argument that these come from warmer environments, so they should be used to it. However, these are not wild animals. These are domesticated animals that have been bred in this environment and are now used to this environment, which means they're not used to hot temperatures. So it is important to try and keep them cool. Let me know down below if you have any tips or tricks in keeping your small animals cool. But for now, it's bye from me and bye from the gang, and we hope to see you soon. Bye!